Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, I want to talk about how to know when avoidant loves you and they're leaning towards actually commitment towards you. And if you want to book a call with me so we can talk about your actual relationship dynamic so that I can evaluate a little bit more specific to your case, that is pinned in the comments. The first one I think is one of the more interesting ones, and I think it's also one of the more important ones, which is why I put it first. They give you the benefit of the doubt. So let's stop on this and talk about what that actually means like and what it looks like. Giving you the benefit of the doubt is something that avoidants like to feel about themselves. So when an anxious preoccupied loves somebody, this is an example, right? They like to give them a lot of attention, a lot of love, and a lot of care because that's kind of how they feel when they're loved. Like that's what they want when they're loved. So an avoidant likes when they are given the benefit of the doubt, which is why when they really love you, they start giving that to you, if that makes sense. So an example for, let's say, an anxious preoccupied, and then I'll flip it so it makes sense. If you're an anxious preoccupied person and you really love somebody, you make sure they're okay, or you want to hear about their childhood. You want to hear the depths of them, right? That's when you love somebody, because that's something that you want someone to ask you. How was your day? How did you feel when this happened? Or maybe make you some soup when you're sick. That is how you feel loved. It's an example. Not everyone will fit that category. But for avoidance, if you give them the benefit of the doubt, they feel as though they're loved and they're appreciated for who they are. And so an example could be that maybe you crashed out, or maybe you triple text them during a meeting and you say, I'm sorry. Maybe you were on your time of the month, right? And so your emotions were a little bit heightened. There was something bothering you, and sometimes that can happen. And then you might say, I'm sorry. I've been a little moody. I've been a little emotional. It's that time of the month. And they're like, yeah, I figured it was something, like it wasn't intentional that you were trying to bother me. Is everything okay? They give you the benefit of the doubt, not because they're trying to brush you off or not because they're judging you, but because they actually appreciate the real version of you, not just the negative version of how they could have perceived you. If they didn't give you the benefit of the doubt, they might say, oh, this person is doing this on purpose. She's texting me multiple times because she's trying to bother me. She's trying to ruin my meeting. But that's not giving you the benefit of the doubt. The next one is that they change for the relationship without resentment for doing so. This one is really important because a lot of people, regardless of your attachment style, they might change for the relationship, but it's not genuine. And so they might resent you for doing so. Like they might resent you for having to change for you or for the relationship, right? But when a lot of avoidants don't like to change anyway. So normally they don't get into the situation, but fearful avoidance might fit this a little bit more because some fearful avoidants guilt themselves into changing. But if they have changed for the relationship and they don't have resentment, or if you ask them and they don't really have resentment, this is a good sign that they really do love you. Really particular for fearful avoidance. It does happen with dismissive avoidance, but to be honest, dismissive avoidance rarely are guilted into changing. So if they change, they're not going to have resentment because they don't do anything that they're going to resent somebody about. Because a lot of times avoidants don't do anything they don't want to do, for better or for worse. So dismissive avoidance. So that's just something to keep in mind. The next one is they talk about the future with you, and this one might actually fit better for a lot of y'all. When you talk about the future, they're not triggered any longer. A lot of you guys, and I'm just like, you've heard this from me if you've had a call with me, but I'm just calling all of you guys out. A lot of you guys have this scenario and you guys are like, oh, but he doesn't care or she doesn't care. And you're telling me in session and I pause, and you know this because I've told you, I will pause you and say, wait a second, you don't think they care about you. But then why are they okay with talking about a future? Why are they open to this possibility? Why are they not triggered if they used to be? Why are you still seeing that they don't care about you? Why do you think they don't like you? You've been together for like 4 or 5 years. Why do you still think they don't like you? And you'll be like, yeah, because, sometimes he won't answer the phone, or sometimes I feel like he gets mad at me, or sometimes I feel like he doesn't know me. I understand that. I understand that you feel like he doesn't meet your needs. That I can understand, but that's not the same as him not loving you or him not caring about you. And this is a really important one. If you talk about the future and they don't feel triggered, they usually do. So if they don't feel triggered, they're okay with that. They're comfortable with it. It's natural to them. I want you guys to really consider this one because a lot of you guys have this and it's a very casual thing in your relationship. Like as in the conversation of future is a casual topic. but it's casual because it's known. You guys have been together for a while and you're okay with this type of situation without you even realizing how serious this is. Avoidants do not do that with every random person. They do it with very specific people, which is only the people they care about, their family members and the person they love. If they're okay with future talk, even if it's like a little bit potential, it is a good sign, okay? The next one is they start being comfortable or being open about sharing their financial situation with you or their financial standing. That doesn't mean that they're giving you money, even though maybe, but it's really more about they're okay with telling you how much money they make, maybe how much money they have in stocks, maybe how much real estate they have. Maybe if they have a mortgage on their home, they tell you how much the percentages of it or how much is left over on the home before they pay it off. This sounds a little bit random, but it is very specific. This is even more specific for dismissive avoidance. Avoidants do not like sharing how much they make, because if they make too less, it's embarrassing and they feel like they will be reprimanded. If they make too much, then you'll take advantage of them. Not that you would, these are their fears. And so by sharing their finances, whatever it is, whatever it looks like, just sharing that situation with you, it means they trust you a lot. And it also means that they are potentially thinking about at one point, maybe you guys can get married or have that financial situation combined. They trust you enough, okay? The next one is they seek your advice. This can be about anything, but it would be even more particular with something that you have advice in, something that you're open about or that you're good at. Let's say you're a teacher and maybe you're a teacher or a babysitter, so your job has to do with a lot of children, and maybe they have a niece and they seek advice about something, about how to talk with their niece, whatever that is. They're seeking advice because they trust you, they trust your expertise, but they also respect your knowledge. And they also believe that there are things that you know that they don't know. This is really important because a lot of avoidants, if they don't know something, a lot of times they will reach out to someone that they trust, like a mentor or something, and they usually hold these people to really high regard. A lot of times, if an avoidant sees you as someone in high regard, they do really care about you, and that is a sign they love you, but they also want to commit to you, because they want to keep people like that in their life. And usually if they see a romantic partner, they also want to see them someone they can trust, okay? The next one is they express gratitude for having you in their life. I appreciate you always cooking for me. Thank you for listening. I know I can be difficult sometimes, but I appreciate your patience. They might even say something like, I really love your cooking. I really love your presence. I feel so safe around you. You're the person that I feel most safe with. You guys, a lot of you guys have had calls with me, and a lot of you guys tell me that's what they say. And you don't realize how serious that is. And you're still telling me, oh, I don't think he cares about me. And I respect that you feel that way. I promise. But I want you guys to know that you're loved. I just do, because it's not, these relationships can be really difficult, but once you really can see it, it's more simpler than you realize. That's why I make a lot of these videos. I want you guys to be happy. And I want you guys to be with the person that you love and they love you back. Like it's sad to see a couple that two people love each other and they don't speak the same emotional language. And that's why it's failing. It's not the lack of love. And most of the relationships I've seen with you guys is that, which is good because the lack of love is not there. But then the communication is the skill building that we work on. Okay. And so just keep that in mind. If they express gratitude in any form, they do really care, okay? The next one is that they are comfortable buying and receiving gifts from you. This one can take a while. So it may not show up now, but it will at one point. But this one does take a while, I will be honest with you. The next one is that they worry about your well-being. Maybe we were talking about, let's say you being on your menstrual cycle if you are a woman. They might say, hey, are you okay? Are you feeling okay? Maybe you're sick. Maybe you had a hard meeting. They might ask you afterwards, how was the meeting? They worry and care about your well-being. Let's summarize and we'll wrap it up. They give you the benefit of the doubt. They change for the relationship without holding resentment towards it. When you talk about the future, or they do talk about the future, they're not triggered. They're comfortable talking about finances with you. They seek advice from you. They express gratitude. They are comfortable receiving and buying gifts from you, and they worry about your well-being. I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.